The Porsche Type 64 is widely considered the first car to bear the genes of later Porsche designs, even though it was created before the brand officially existed. The project originated in the late 1930s as a response to the need for a lightweight, fast sports car capable of long-distance driving. The design was based on the technical solutions of the Volkswagen Beetle, which Ferdinand Porsche had been working on, but it was significantly enhanced in terms of performance and aerodynamics. Just 3 examples of the Type 64 were produced, and from the outset, it was a unique vehicle, experimental, hand-built, and driven by the idea of maximum efficiency. Even then, it set the course for the development of future Porsche models, combining low weight, a streamlined silhouette, and sporting ambitions. One of the most remarkable features of the Porsche Type 64 was its body. Handcrafted from aluminum, just 1.2 millimeters thick, it was an example of design thinking far ahead of its time. Streamlined shapes, covered wheel arches, and smooth body lines were designed to minimize air resistance. In an era when most cars had boxy silhouettes, the Type 64 had an almost futuristic look. This body later became a benchmark for post-war production Porsche models. It can still be seen today in the Porsche Museum in Stuttgart, a testament to the technical courage and vision of the engineers who worked on the foundations of the future brand before the war. Only 3 examples of the Porsche Type 64 were built, each with a slightly different history. The war complicated the fate of these cars, with some being destroyed or dispersed. One example served directly with the Porsche family, becoming a means of personal transportation and a testing ground for new technical solutions. It was to this car that, after the war, workers at the Porsche plant in Gmünd, Austria, introduced significant improvements. These improvements made the Type 64 an even more refined design, combining pre-war engineering with experience gained in the difficult post-war realities. The example used by the Porsche family underwent significant modifications after the war. The mechanical brakes were replaced with more modern, hydraulically controlled ones, improving driving efficiency and safety. The suspension was also modified, adapting it for better stability and handling at higher speeds. The increased engine power also allowed for the full exploitation of the body's aerodynamic potential. These improvements made the Type 64 not only a historical curiosity, but a fully functional sports car, capable of both competition and everyday use, a rarity among prototype designs at the time. After the war, a Porsche Type 64 came into the possession of Automotive, an Austrian racing driver and automotive enthusiast. Mate added the car to his collection, but he didn't treat it solely as a museum piece. For several years, he competed in it, achieving numerous successes and proving that Porsche's pre-war design was still competitive. His achievements helped cement the legend of the Type 64 as not only a pioneering car, but also a sporting success. Thanks to Mate, the car gained a second life, and its history was enriched by real-world successes on the racetrack and track. The Porsche Type 64 wasn't a mass market or commercial project, but its significance for the brand's history is immense. It was the first to combine elements that would later become Porsche hallmarks: lightweight construction, a rear-mounted engine, attention to aerodynamics, and a sporty character. Although technically derived from Volkswagen, the philosophy behind the Type 64 was already fully Porsche. This car bridged the gap between Ferdinand Porsche's pre-war engineering and the post-war models that built the brand's global reputation. Without the Type 64, it's difficult to imagine the later successes of the 356 or 911. After Automate's death in 1995, his collection was sold. The priceless Porsche Type 64 was transferred to a new owner in Vienna, along with numerous parts and memorabilia related to the car's history. Shortly thereafter, the spare parts and other treasures were acquired by the founders of the Prototype Museum in Hamburg. To their great surprise, among the seemingly insignificant parts original components from other Type 64s were found. This discovery was of immense historical significance, allowing for the recreation of fragments of history that for years seemed irretrievably lost. The recovered components allowed the prototype museum to begin work on the car's reconstruction, an exceptionally difficult undertaking requiring extensive knowledge. Every detail had to be faithful to the original, and documentation was sparse. However, thanks to this project, it was possible to bring back to life fragments of one of the most important cars in Porsche's history. Simultaneously, the Porsche Museum in Stuttgart is exhibiting the original aluminum body of the Type 64, highlighting its groundbreaking significance. These efforts demonstrate the importance the company places on preserving and promoting the earliest stages of the brand's history. Today, the Porsche Type 64 is considered one of the most valuable and desirable collector cars in the world. Its value stems not only from its extreme rarity, but above all, from its historical significance. It symbolizes the birth of the Porsche brand and provides material proof that its DNA was formed even before its official market debut. The Type 64 is the subject of research by automotive historians, an inspiration for designers, and a cult object among brand fans. Every preserved item, every photograph, and every account of its use constitute an invaluable source of knowledge about the origins of sports cars. The Porsche Type 64 is much more than a prototype or a museum curio. It is the cornerstone of the entire Porsche philosophy, engraved in its aluminum, rivets, and flowing body lines. Its history, from pre-war ambitions through wartime turmoil, post-war modifications, Automative's successes, and subsequent museum discoveries, weaves a coherent narrative of determination, innovation, and passion. Today, the Type 64's legacy permeates every Porsche sports car that takes to the road or track. It is precisely why this unassuming pre-war car holds such a unique place in automotive history.